Alright, wanted to do a quick video on looking for vintage knife lots to flip for profit. And so got a handful of them picked out here just to kind of look through, see what I see. Um, right off the bat, I mean, this one has 25 bids already. It's got 35 watchers. So there's a good chance this one goes for quite a bit more than this. But, eight knives. These look really old. Some interesting ones in here, and $17 shipping. So normally I try to figure out kind of what's the price per knife. So 55 plus another $5 in tax plus the $17 shipping. We're at $77 for eight knives. That's basically almost $10 a knife, which is pretty high. And this one has pretty good pictures, but you can see the damage already. I mean, this Remington's a valuable knife, but broken blade tip. Camp King, and it looks pretty rusted. That's not a very good knife. That's a $5 knife, right? This could be a $40 knife in better condition. Can't see what this is, but look at the cracked bone scales. Once again, hard to fix. Um, I don't think that knife is very valuable. This would be a really valuable knife. This is a case Barlow. Um, it's got the chipped, I think that's Bakelite probably. Could be a bone, but looks like a Bakelite. And it's got, lots of pitting and chips in the blades. Let's see here. That's the Remington again. That's the Camp King. So when I look at this, I'm like, geez, there's some cool knives in here. Maybe if you're a professional restorer, you can make money on this lot. But just looking at these eight knives at almost $10 a knife, and I think it's going to go higher than that, I'm going to pass. What's this one? All right, Trooper. Yeah, once again, tipped blade though. These are in rough condition. They're nice, but pass for me. Same seller. This one only has 12 bids, only 23 watchers. Not as many good knives in here. Looks like a Kent, Forest Master. I think that's Imperial or Colonial. Lots of chipped, once again, broken blade tips, worn down. Look at that thing's a nub right there. I forget what this mark is. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm a pass on this. These are in rough shape. If you're not a professional restorer, then I don't think you're going to make your money back probably on these. You're talking $50 for 10 knives. You're at $5 a knife. Probably go a little bit higher than that. So this next one, no bids, has a pretty high starting price. But right off the bat, I see a nice Schrade. I think that's a LB1. Um, Basically their buck 110 equivalent. It's probably a $15, $20 knife. We've got a Victorinox. Looks like it might have the crossbow, but it's not an older one because it's got a hole in the awl and it's got a smooth corkscrew, so that's probably a $10 knife, but it has the box, maybe 15. Oh, it's probably a marble knife. Barlow, it's nice. It's a $10 knife. Boy Scout knife, looks full. That's maybe a $10 knife. Schrade Old Timer, $10 knife. Pocket Ease, $10 knife. Fish knife with broken tip, that's a $5 knife maybe. This one looks like a $5. So let's once again count them up um, and just see how many knives we're at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 knives. Um, let's see, so 13 knives, you're at 65 plus 7 plus 8. So divide that by 13 knives. You're at $6 a knife. I see a few in there that might sell for significantly more than 6, but I don't know. It's better than the last one, but I still probably would pass on this. Let's see here. This one, yuck. You can tell that's China. It's Cabela's. It's cheapy. That's China. Swiss Army missing the scales. Little buck knife. That's maybe the best one in there, but it's also China. You can see right there. Full of actually, so this is a real one. These two are fake. Victorinox. This Old Timer is the Hunter equivalent. That's maybe a $10, $15 knife. Yuck. It looks like that's, what is that? Pass. Sorry. So there's the buck knife. That's just a blade. This is the best knife in there, and it's not that great of a knife. Yeah. I mean, maybe just in quantity of 17 quote-unquote knives in here, but most of these are $1 to $2 knives. So this one, you can make a little bit of money, but it's hard. It's hard to get your money back. That buck's maybe a $5, $10 knife, maybe. And then this Schrade's maybe a $15, $20 knife, but you never know what the condition is on that. That could be worth a little bit more. So at 25 bucks, you can see why only 3 people favorited it. It doesn't end for a day. So, all right, here we've got a bunch of Barlows. Barlows aren't generally that valuable. We already looked at the case one. That's going to be the best. There's a few out there that are pretty valuable, but in general, I've found Barlows are never worth more than like 10 bucks. This one looks completely worn down to the nub. These look like cheapy. You can tell by the pins, cheapy like Colonial, Imperial types. So yeah, see Colonial. That's not a very valuable Barlow. And Imperial. So you can see the Imperial with the little crown there. Those tend to be on the lower end of the knives. Let's see, anything else here? Can't tell what that is. These are electrician knives. Has a very worn screwdriver, very rusted out. Oh, it might have the TL-29. These can be somewhat valuable because they were issued during World War II. So sometimes these can be pretty popular, and maybe that's why it's got the bit already. Here's another one that looks like it has Bakelite handles. Normally, I would say these are not worth more than 10 bucks, but the TL-29 might be. These can, yeah, see, they marked it right there. So those can be valuable knives. Oh, it's an Ulster too. So yeah, that's a good chance that one's worth some money. So you're at over 30 bucks. You're at like almost $35 for how many knives here? For 10. So that's $3 a knife. This probably is the best candidate I've seen so far. I don't love it, but there might be some money here that's in excess. Let's look at this last one here. Okay, this is interesting. Marbles. A lot of these are made in China. Usually if they have the little grooves in the fingernail file, they were made in China. So this is like a fake scrimshaw. It's not a bad knife, but it's not worth a ton. But I think the reason why I see 13 bids, it's already at 88 bucks with 24 watchers. So technically you're not allowed to sell switchblades or automatics on eBay. People will kind of hide them in knife lots. And so here I don't recognize Milano, so this is an Italian. It's a pretty cool with the wood handles, lock. It looks in beautiful shape. This knife alone could be a $200 knife, perhaps. So here's another automatic AKC. I'm not as familiar with these just because they're illegal a lot of places. They're not legal to own, they're illegal to carry, and they can be hard to sell. They can be really hard to sell. And so, I don't know, I wouldn't go just for the automatics, but unless you're a collector of these, they can be hard to flip, even though they are really valuable. So it wouldn't shock me if this one goes for hundreds of dollars, because it's already at 88 and it still has, almost 5 days left. So wanted to just show you kind of what I look for. These were some of the more interesting lots. I hadn't really taken a deep look before I showed you, but I just wanted to see if there was anything that I would be interested in. And honestly, I didn't see too much in these lots. This stuff's old, good brands, bad condition. So I'm a pass, right? These ones are in better condition, but with the high starting price, you can see no one's bid. If this was a $25, I'd maybe bid maybe 30, 40 on it. But I'm just at this high price, I'm out. This was all junk. This is all cheap, cheap junk, except the one Schrade there, and who knows what condition it's in. And then these are not the most collectible, other than maybe the TL29. So these knives are not really that valuable. Anyways, let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, or give me any comments on what you think. Did I miss something? Is there something more valuable? I'm really interested to see what people want to learn about. When it comes to flipping, I tend to spend most of my time on these pocket knives because I've found that they have a really good market online, but they have a really terrible market in person. And so people tend to not buy this stuff. They stay away from it. And so you can get great deals on pocket knives, and then flip them online to people who are true collectors. So I look at tons of stuff to flip. Stay tuned to my channel if you want to learn about a lot of other items, but you will find that pocket knives are probably going to be half my content just because I enjoy them and they're interesting to look at for me. Thanks for watching.